Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the September 10th edition of Carolina Week.
I'm Lib Curley. Coming up, I'll give you the latest on the suspension of the rugby team.
A controversial magazine is being sold on campus. Find out what it is and why legally it may be difficult to stop.
In sports, we'll show you why the Basketball Hall of Fame just got better.
Weathercaster Laura Pagano has your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and a saucy North Carolina taste-off. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Carolina Week. I'm Carla Babb.
And I'm Adam Rue. Thanks for joining us. Rugby is one of those sports with a reputation for rough play on the pitch, but members of the UNC rugby team are now facing tough times off the field. Carolina Week's Lib Curley joins us from a South Campus practice field with the latest. Lib?
I'm standing here on Airing House Field, which is rugby territory, but the team won't be playing here anytime soon after the latest news of their indefinite suspension. Saturdays aren't match days on the Airing House pitch anymore. An investigation of hazing charges filed a week ago against UNC's rugby club is underway. Co-captain Todd Gardner says hearing news of the suspension was hard.
And it's tough to hear that without any debate, that's just taken away. And, you know, to be honest, many of us were on the verge of tears.
UNC's Division of Student Affairs filed 3 charges: hazing, violation of the university's alcohol policy, and misrepresentation of the university locally and abroad. They don't know of any specific incidents that brought on the charges, but President Rufaro Sakippa says he sees how officials could form suspicions.
I think it's been a collection of things, and quite frankly, it's been a collection of things over an extended period of time.
Until the investigation is complete, the team isn't allowed to practice, play games, or use university facilities under the team name. This isn't the first hazing allegation against a UNC organization. Last year, Sigma Chi fraternity faced similar charges. Officials found Sigma Chi guilty of hazing charges and placed the fraternity on probation until December. Sigma Chi's case is finally closed, but the rugby team's has just opened. UNC's director of sports clubs, Jason Halsey, wouldn't appear on camera, but says administrators will conduct a series of interviews with rugby officers and players to further investigate the charges and decide what to do. Until then, the team slated for nationals has to sit tight.
Lib, hazing is sort of a broad term. Can you explain exactly what the university considers hazing?
Well, Adam, I have here the booklet for the Instrument of Student Judicial Governance here at UNC, and it lays out a lengthy definition for hazing. But essentially it says that the rugby team is being charged with an act that put one of its fellow team members in a compromising position, with or without their consent.
Lib Curley starting us off tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just because Airing House Field is empty doesn't mean other fields on campus are too. A new year of the Kids Rock UNC Campus Recreation Program kicked off Saturday morning at Hooker Field. Members of the UNC women's soccer team led the kids in drills and spills for about 2 hours. And don't forget the parents, they've got their exercise too. 9-year-old Joyce Stauffer said she loved hanging out with her soccer heroes.
They really encourage us and they're really good, so it's really fun to play with them and try to beat them.
Says fighting childhood obesity and having a good time are the main goals of the program.
Chapel Hill's new Town Operations Center is open now after a big ceremony this morning. The building cost $52 million and took nearly 10 years to plan. It's the largest project the town has ever funded. The center includes a geothermal heating system, underground tanks to hold rainwater, and solar paneling. The building houses 19 new buses which use ethanol, biodiesel, and other hybrid technologies. Many elected officials spoke at the ribbon cutting, including Congressman David Price and Mayor Pro Tem Bill Strom.
The Bull's Head Shop and Student Stores is getting some heat for a recent addition to the magazine shelf. Reporter Michelle Sapulo tells us more.
When you walk through these doors, you see the usual: textbooks, snacks, and Carolina gear. But what's on the magazine shelf is what's creating a stir. For $6.39 in the Bull's Head shop, you can buy Playboy. This has caused concern for some Carolina students. Playboy is available in gas stations on Franklin Street, but selling it on campus makes some students uneasy.
They're not just selling someone a magazine, they're actually advocating the behavior that results from this magazine and saying that it's okay that this behavior is on this campus.
But removing the magazine from the Bull's Head shop is complicated.
Legally, Playboy is not considered obscene, but removing it from the shelves would allow students to remove other things from the store, and that could be just about anything.
Other students don't think selling the magazine should be a problem.
I don't feel like it's a big deal. You know, if people don't want to buy it, they don't have to buy it. Just don't shop there. Don't buy it. Don't look at it.
The manager of the Bull's Head shop, Erica Eisdorfer, said in a debate earlier this week there's a reason she doesn't want to remove it from the shelf.
Sexist and racist literature and pictures are harmful, but to me, the worst crime is censorship because it limits our power to decide what we want to hear and read and write.
Associates in the student stores say the magazine hasn't been a big seller, so they don't keep many in stock. But since the panel debate, the store has sold out of the few copies on hand. The new stock of Playboy will arrive with next month's issue, and right now, the plan is to keep selling it. In Chapel Hill, I'm Michelle Sapulo, Carolina Week.
If you like the magazine, you might like a new online social networking site. It's called Playboy U. It's similar to Facebook and brings people together by allowing members to send messages, pictures, and videos. It's a non-nude site, but there are forums for members to talk about sex and organize Playboy parties. Unlike other social networking sites, Playboy U is open only to college students.
With U.S. dependence on foreign oil a hot topic these days, many of us are looking for new ways to fill up.
Coming up, we'll tell you about a homegrown alternative made right down the road.
Hear that? How could I not? They can't be serious. This is their third party this week and I have a test tomorrow.
Yeah, and they blocked me in. Again!
Let's party!
It's about time we got here.
Anything left in here?
I bet they're gonna leave their garbage out again. They do this every time when they have friends over.
It's important to be considerate of others who live close to you. You wouldn't want neighbors like these. Make sure to control your garbage, obey Chapel Hill noise ordinances, park only in your driveway or other designated areas, obey all alcohol laws, and remember, we're all living in this community together, so be a good neighbor.
Biodiesel may be making its debut in many new transit buses, but in Pittsboro, a much larger operation is underway to promote this homegrown fuel. Reporter Julia Ritchie explores this sustainable alternative.
Piedmont Biofuels is a worker and member-owned co-op specializing in the production of biodiesel. Biofuels co-founder Rachel Burton happily gives tours.
This is our biodiesel fuel quality control lab. Almost every one of these bottles represents 4,000 gallons that's been shipped into the world.
Biodiesel is a chemically modified vegetable oil, which can serve as a replacement fuel for diesel engines. However, this isn't the same as running your car off straight vegetable oil, nor is it ethanol, which comes from corn. Burton says biodiesel attracts people from both sides of the aisle.
Biodiesel brings all different types of people, so you can have your climate change freaks alongside people that are interested in hometown security.
Even though it's cleaner burning, biodiesel still has its critics.
Some environmentalists argue that the emissions produced by growing soybean crops, which then go into vegetable oil, are greater than the emissions reduced by burning biodiesel.
Professor Dan Costa is program director for air research at the Environmental Protection Agency. He says pollution from soybean farming isn't the real problem.
The shortcoming is that if we converted all of the soybean that we're growing in this country right now just to biodiesel, it would still be only 3% of the total consumption of diesel fuel.
That doesn't even include gasoline consumption. Even so, Costa says although biodiesel might not be the national solution to our dependence on foreign oil, it's a good community solution and a solid step in the right direction. In Pittsboro, I'm Julia Ritchie, Carolina Week.
You can purchase biodiesel for $3.50 a gallon from Piedmont's Carborough location at the town's Public Works facility. Is UNC turning into a dry campus? The drought has administrators teaming up with the Orange Water and Sewer Authority to conserve water. Since 2002, UNC has implemented water-saving policies, including shutting off fountains and installing dual-flush toilets. Students can help by reporting leaky fixtures and spending less time in the shower. Sustainability Program Assistant Jesse Prentice-Dunn says UNC's biggest initiative will be to reduce water demand by 10%.
The top project as it stands right now is developing a system to reclaim wastewater and that we can use to irrigate fields, that we can use to flush toilets. It's so big that it'll provide almost 1 million gallons a day.
OWASA will hold 3 workshops on sustainable lawn care techniques on Tuesday and Wednesday. The classes are free. If you want to go, you can check out our website, carolinaweek.org, for the registration number.
You might have noticed one Franklin Street store is back and on a different side of the street. Julien's is officially reopened for business. The high-end retail store opened the doors to its new Franklin Street location September 1st. The store has the traditional Carolina-themed clothing and accessories customers have always loved. It also features a collection of bow ties, suits, and formal wear. Julien's designed the Carolina men's basketball uniforms, and employees say they pride themselves on their connection to Chapel Hill.
Is this year's freshman class smarter than ones in previous years? The numbers might lead you to think so. SAT scores for the graduating class of 2011 are the highest UNC has ever seen, an average of 1302. This comes at a time when the national average SAT score is on the decline. Executive Associate Provost Steve Allred is pleased with the improvement in scores, but says there's not that much of a difference.
You know, the statistical significance between an average of 1302 and a 1294 is, in the long run, you know, not that great. What it shows is that we have incredibly smart students.
The greatest number of applications could have contributed to the higher average, but he also stresses that an SAT score is only one factor in the admissions process.
Once students are accepted to college, the next step is choosing a place to live. A rise in material and labor has caused Morrison Hall to open its doors this fall. Hinton James won't be getting a planned facelift. After the construction of Rand Village cost an extra $18 million, the housing department was forced to delay its aggressive renovation programs because the university can't control escalating building costs.
Which obviously are not planned for when things like Katrina happened and China buys up a lot of materials that cause the price to go up and things outside of the control of what you would have normally anticipated.
Although no full renovation will take place in Hinton James, housing did manage to do some minor renovations during the summer, such as adding some air conditioning units.
Dorms aren't the only buildings undergoing construction. The UNC Law School is making some necessary repairs after heat damage forced officials to evacuate the building. It was cracks like these that led to the closing last Friday. The extreme summer heat caused the brick in the building to expand, making exterior concrete bow and windows crack. University officials estimate it will take nearly a month to complete the repairs. Many are wondering if the same problem could happen elsewhere. Vice Chancellor of Construction Bruce Runberg says the university is bringing in a structural engineer to ensure safety.
Come in and take a look at several of the buildings that are of that era and that have brick panels on them. So yes, we're going to double check and make sure we don't have other issues.
The problem comes on the heels of a year-long evaluation of the law school. The university is deciding whether to expand the existing facilities or relocate the law school to the proposed Carolina North satellite campus.
Are you thinking of adopting a pet? It's time for our Pet of the Week segment. Meet Bear, a 7-year-old cuddly German Shepherd Collie mix. He's a gentle old soul who loves attention and is always willing to walk by your side. He ended up at the shelter after his owner passed away, and now he's looking to be someone else's devoted companion. For more information about how you can adopt Bear or any of the other pets at the shelter, visit our website at carolinaweek.org.
And now we're joined by weather forecaster Laura Pagano.
Hi.
Hi, Laura. It's really hot out there. Do we have any relief coming?
Oh, we do, and we also have maybe some possible relief in that sense as rain as well. So not just temperatures, but precipitation. So it may be September, but the weather feels nothing like fall. But is this little bee in for a rude winter awakening? I'll have the details after the break.
I'm tall enough to reach the light switches. I'm big enough to brush my teeth by myself. I'm the tallest kid in my class. I haven't worn diapers in years. I'm much less likely to vomit at random now. My cups don't have lids anymore. Mine either. I'm getting pretty big. But to help me survive a car crash, I still need you to give me a boost.
Until they're 4'9", use a booster seat in the car and don't let them down. I helped turn my child's public school into one with extended hours, 6 days a week year-round, filled with loads of academic, cultural, and recreational activities. One with medical and dental services right there. A school where students are excited about learning. There's just one problem. My child doesn't ever want to come home. Turn your school into a community school for excellence. Find out how. Call 1-877-LOVE-TO-LEARN.
Hi, and welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weather forecaster Laura Pagano. Well, let's take a look at the headlines, and we see sizzling temperatures. I'm sure many of you have gone in and out of your classroom and just been hit by a wall of warmth. And I am with you if you say you're tired of these high temperatures, because we really do need to see a decrease in temperature since fall is approaching. Also, high allergy reports. Well, for those of you who have respiratory problems, I do have some relief in sight for you, and rain is a relief to hose us down since we're so warm going to class. I'll let you know. But let's first take a look at the allergy report. For Tuesday and Wednesday, we're seeing very high conditions. For those of you who are suffering with allergies, don't be outdoors too much during these 2 days, but Thursday and Friday, there's a sign of some change about to occur. So let's look at the U.S. satellite, and there it is. We have two frontal systems. So we're seeing a band of precipitation, which is a first front, which is shooting off some storms in the vicinity, especially from Texas all the way into West Virginia. And then looking further back, we're seeing a heavier precipitation, which is associated with another front. So we are seeing some changes heading our way. For the regional look, we see that Raleigh, Durham, and Greensboro absolutely clear, but as we look further towards the west, we are seeing the clouds coming into play, and as these clouds move in, we are going to see perhaps an increase in precipitation, so that's great for folks that are tired of watering their gardens, like myself. So anyways, let's take a look at the current surface map, and we'll see this front is going to be making its way towards the east, and when it does, it will bring with it some precipitation, especially in the afternoon. So looking for your Tuesday, we're seeing that front is going to make its way, but unfortunately, we're going to see a decrease in precipitation because we are very bone dry here, so it is going to squeeze that moisture right out of the atmosphere. So we're going to be lucky if we see ample amount of precipitation. And for our Wednesday, there it goes. It's heading out, and hopefully we're going to get some precipitation into our area, and off towards the west, we are seeing nothing. So this is the only precipitation we're going to get for the next couple of days. So looking at the 4-day forecast, Tuesday and Wednesday, fairly warm, sunny conditions. And for your Thursday and Friday, look at those temperatures. Aren't you excited? I sure am. We're seeing temperatures in the mid-80s with thunderstorms possible. And for your tropical report, we have no waves in the vicinity, so that's always good news. But we really need that precipitation, that's for sure.
Oh yes, I can't wait to get it. It's so hot walking around campus.
I know.
Laura, thank you.
No problem.
The sunny weather often brings students outside to hang out in the pit. Today, the weather was perfect for the annual Arts Day. Students gathered in the pit to watch different UNC groups like the Cliffhangers perform. More than 20 campus arts organizations came out to show off their talents and to give students information about their groups.
And now we're joined by sportscaster Mark Alexic. How are you doing, Mark?
I'm doing well, a little bittersweet after an interesting weekend in Tar Heel sports.
Yeah, it was quite a game on Saturday.
Oh, heartbreaker to say the least.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, coming up in sports, Carolina Week traveled to Greenville for the football game. We'll revisit Carolina's heartbreaking loss to East Carolina.
Alone and crying, boom, boom, bah. Crying, pom, pom, pom. Crying, chaka, chaka, cha. Crying is always good.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Here we go.
I was in a drunk driving accident down in Melbourne, Florida. Everything I do is a challenge at different levels. Anytime I can get out of my chair and do something, I have that sense of freedom. I think everybody on this earth, whether they know it or not, is ultimately trying to achieve that freedom.
Able Flight, flight training scholarships for people with disabilities.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Mark Alexic. On Saturday, the football team traveled to Greenville to take on East Carolina. It was Carolina's first trip to Greenville in 32 years. The Tar Heels fell short by a field goal in what turned out to be an intense rivalry game against the Pirates. The game was a hard-fought showdown of experience versus talented youth. This was the first away game in an intimidating environment for many UNC players. The game was loaded with momentum shifts and game-changing plays.
They're going to make mistakes, and they're going to be painful mistakes, and but they're going to get better. It's the only way for this football program. It's the only chance we have to grow as a football program, as a football team, is for the young kids to keep playing, keep getting better.
The Tar Heels have come a long way since the ugly performances of recent years. Clearly, they're buying into this winner attitude Davis has been talking about. The Tar Heels will open ACC play Saturday against Virginia. After dropping its first home opener ever, the women's soccer team faced third-ranked Texas A&M. The Friday matchup was in front of the 9th largest crowd in Fetzer Field history. The Heels got on board first after Yael Averbush headed the ball forward to freshman striker Megan Klingenberg. That's Klingenberg getting her first career goal. Later in the first half, Sterling Smith running up on a rebound, punching it in for the point. Heels lead 2-0. A&M All-American Ashley Pastorius scored the only goal for the Aggies as the Heels went on to win 2-1. The Lady Tar Heels faced off Sunday afternoon against Yale. The Heels claimed the championship of the Carolina Nike Classic with a 4-0 win over the Bulldogs. After losing its first season opener in program history, the team bounced back, allowing only 7 shots and 1 goal in both games during the weekend. Fans filled the stands of Carmichael Auditorium for the volleyball home opener on Friday night. The energetic crowd brought signs and some dance moves to cheer on the Tar Heels. And the Heels did not disappoint as they won a tough 5-game match against Villanova. Senior Christy Clark says that the crowd gave the team the momentum the Heels needed to pull out the victory.
Oh yeah, the crowd here is awesome, and we get so much support out here. It's so great to hear them all cheering and everything.
Coming off a win, the Lady Heels looked to keep their momentum Saturday afternoon. But the Lady Toppers of Western Kentucky came out strong in Game 1 and took an early lead. Carolina fought back, but Western Kentucky went on to win the first 2 games of the match. Behind a large crowd of students, the Heels regrouped in Game 3, winning 30-19. But the Lady Toppers used a late rally to win a close Game 4 and the match 3-1. The Tar Heels continued their play in the Carolina Classic Saturday night in a nail-biter against the undefeated American Eagles. The Heels took an early lead, going up 2-0 in a best-of-5 match, but American fought back to win the next 2 games to force a 5th game. The Heels went on to win 15-12, and relieved coach Joe Segula says the team lost their focus, but the consistency of some of their newest players won the match for them.
We brought Courtney Johnston in. She's a real stable player, and we knew that at that time of the game, she couldn't really be effective. It changed the rhythm of the game a little bit.
Of course, he's number 1 in our hearts, and now he's added another honor to his long list of accomplishments. Sarah Moore was in Springfield, Massachusetts for Roy Williams' induction into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
We're in Springfield, Massachusetts. This is the birthplace of basketball and the home of the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. He is only the third coach to lead two schools to an NCAA title game. In 2005, he won a national championship at North Carolina, his alma mater. A six-time National Coach of the Year, elected as a coach. Would you please welcome Roy Williams to the Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2000.
To be going into the Hall of Fame at all is a tremendous honor, but to be going in with these coaches and this team is something that is the highlight of my coaching life.
Well, it is an awe-inspiring experience just walking around and see what's happened and see the way that people are recognized. It's pretty special. Sort of just catches your eye a little bit and you think that there's going to be somebody else walking by and seeing your picture up there.
I always wanted to be like my high school coach. That was my dream. And then I was a high school coach for 5 years and just felt like I wasn't doing as much as I wanted to do. And so I wanted to get into college coaching, and all of a sudden, about the same time I was having those thoughts, Coach Smith asked me to come back. And it's going to be hard to say a lot of great things about Kansas and say a lot of great things about North Carolina, so I'm just going to focus on the people. I'm so personal and probably thin-skinned, and I give my heart, my body, and soul. And Chancellor Measure said it's not immoral to love two institutions, and I really do.
And what a great ceremony it was, and kudos to Sarah Moore for making that trip up to Massachusetts.
Absolutely. What a ceremony for Roy. Congratulations to him.
Thanks, Mark. Well, Adam, when you hear about hot sauce, you probably think about Texas.
But after the break, find out why it's a little hotter in one part of the Tar Heel state these days.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
North Carolina is famous for festivals, celebrating seafood, whistling, even bugs. Reporter Kelsey Colt says we can add hot sauce to that list now.
The festival featured a bluegrass duo and several local hot sauce producers and microbreweries, including Chapel Hill's own Top of the Hill. Granville County is home to Bailey Farms, the largest pepper producer on the eastern seaboard. By hosting the North Carolina Hot Sauce Festival, Stovall's Gift Shop hopes to bring business not only to downtown Oxford, but to the surrounding communities as well. Jimmy Hopgood hopes Oxford will host the event again next year.
Everybody's here elbow to elbow, you know, just trying foods and wines and beers, and it's been nice.
I'm standing here today with the owner of Spice It Up Gourmet Foods, and the judges say he has the hottest hot sauce at today's North Carolina Hot Sauce Festival. So here goes. Oh man, that really is hot. The winner of the $500 prize was the Blues Barbecue Habanero Reserve Hot Sauce. Chef Joseph Brown says it was a unanimous decision.
It's a good hot sauce, a nice sauce to cook with, wonderful texture, moderate heat without being too overpowering, so no complaints.
So if you love spicy food, get ready for next fall when local hot sauce producers will once again bring the heat to Stovall's Gift Shop. In Oxford, I'm Kelsey Colt, Carolina Week.
Carla, I loved Kelsey's reaction to the hot sauce. I love hot food. I wish she had brought back some of that stuff so we could taste it.
Oh, not me. I was thinking about trying a North Carolina brand, but after seeing her reaction, I think I might stick to Texas
Yeah, that stuff
beef.
looks pretty hot, and it's really cool that that's something, I mean, we certainly don't hear about lots of festivals like that, the Seafood Festival, the Oyster Festival down on the beach, but nothing about hot sauce anywhere.
That's true. I'm pretty much looking forward to the Oyster Festival because that is lots of good food and fun in the sun.
Absolutely. That does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Good night.